eruption. It's the same old bait and switch, only now there's no peace and interruption. Tell the pirates at the WTO, you weren't elected and you gotta go. We're taking it back, we're taking it back.
With Dr. Jill Stein, the Green Party.
We're taking it back, we're taking it back. We're taking it back, we're taking it back. We're taking it back, we're taking it back. All right.
A Green Party leader here in the state of Iowa. His name is David Courard-Hauri. He ran for Iowa House District number 41 in 2014. He's also a professor and director of environmental science and policy at Drake University. Please welcome to the stage, David.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks you all for coming out. Let me bore you for a second with a partial list of the countries that have members of the Green Party sitting in their national legislatures or as members of the coalition governments. Australia, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Czech Republic, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Japan, Macedonia, Mexico, Mongolia, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, the UK. Between them, these countries have huge differences in the strength of their progressive movements, in the history of their politics, and in the makeup of their electorates. But what they have in common is that none of them have the plurality wins voting system that we have in the United States, a system that's essentially designed to ensure that a small elite has control over what issues the political process can consider. We know the two-party system is fully broken. The parties have learned that in most elections they only have to cater to a small group of primary voters because the general election is predetermined. Thus, the parties have been growing more and more polarized to the point where they can no longer pass laws together unless wealthy interests are at stake or we want to bomb somebody. Voters grow increasingly frustrated and either drop out or decide that anything must be better than what we have. And down that road lies populist fascism, as we're beginning to see. If we're ungovernable, a nuclear-armed nation with the largest military in the world many times over is an extremely dangerous thing for humanity. Moreover, it doesn't matter what you care about, whether it's climate change, inequality, racial injustice, militarism, money in politics, health care for the still uninsured. We're at the point where we can't address anything at the national level unless a single party manages to win control of all three branches of the government, which just doesn't happen in this country. From a policy perspective, you can't get anything done, anything, until we can find a way to make minor parties viable and give us a real mechanism to punish the Democrats and the Republicans when they fail to represent us. Anyone who was not awake to the failure of the two-party system before only has to look at this election, where they tell us our only choice is between a centrist, militaristic party Paul, who gets all of her political advice from oligarchs, or the worst kind of populist demagogue, who's actually an oligarch himself, if a failed one. Unless there's an unprecedented, dramatic change in voter sentiment in November, we're prepared to elect a president who's detested by the majority of Americans. How is it possible that you can elect a president that everybody hates? There aren't many ways to make it happen, except with a failed, entrenched two-party system. So many of us here are all on board with the idea that it's time to break the system and vote our consciences rather than vote for the lesser two evils. But let's be honest with ourselves. There's a very large number of people out there who'll be voting their fears this election. And without voting reform, that's always going to be a drag on progressive politics. So here's what I want from you. I want you to commit yourselves to state level change. There are a slew of voting systems that allow people to avoid the spoiler effect that voters appear to be so afraid of. There's instant runoff voting, there's proportional voting, there's approval voting. All of these have been shown over and over to be vastly more democratic than the current system we have. I truly believe that this election is just the beginning of where we're headed if we don't find a solution to the two-party duopoly.
Yes.
But that change, the change to new voting systems happens in state houses more than the White House. We need people to fight for democratic voting so Greens and Libertarians and Independents and Socialist workers and pacifists and others have a chance to take part in the decision making. And so most voters hear a range of solutions to the problems that we'll be coming up against increasingly quickly. So how can we do this? We have to have strong third parties pushing for voting reform and running in state and local elections where they can talk to people and explain that there are solutions to the gridlock, the polarization, the elite control, and the hyper-partisanship that we're so frustrated with. The majority of Iowa's state house and Senate races are uncontested or non-competitive. We can target those races without being labeled spoilers. As I found in 2014, it's hard to get the word out because the media ignores you. But it's incredibly rewarding, and if enough people are involved, they will pay attention. We need to keep pushing the electorate to see if voters are ready for a solution. Are you ready yet? Are you ready now? How about now? Have you had enough yet? Eventually, if we can keep at it, we'll find the election where they say enough is enough. But we have to be there when that happens, and we can't do it with just a presidential candidate. What I'm saying is, go out and vote Green, but even more importantly, organize for voting reform. Run yourself. We can't just show up on election day and bemoan our lack of choices. We need candidates. We need candidates when the voters are ready, or else we won't be able to make the changes we need. And those candidates can be you.
Okay, so who here besides me thinks David Courard-Hauri should run for office again? I know I'd certainly support this guy. Our next speaker is a seed of revolution, an organizer extraordinaire. His name is Patrick Stahl. And Patrick is from Des Moines Workers Alliance. He's also been a fighter to the opposition of evicting homeless throughout Des Moines. Patrick is also involved with the Catholic workers, and you know, we need a lot more people like Patrick out there putting up the good fight. Let's welcome Patrick to the stage.
Hey, thanks everyone. Like Chris just said, I'm Patrick Stahl with the Des Moines Workers Alliance. How many people out here from Des Moines today? Can you hear anyone from Des Moines? All right, that's great. I've got some bad news for you about Des Moines though. You know, we like to pride ourselves here on our trendy nightlife, our hipster artists and food startups, and our rapid pace of development. Our suburbs are growing faster than any other around the country. Forbes magazine called us last year one of the best places for young urban professionals. But there's a dark underside to this. While we're building new shopping malls and condominiums, the infrastructure of working class areas is falling apart. Our neighborhoods are being gentrified, and the city government is evicting those most vulnerable among us, our homeless population. Every couple of months since fall 2009, the city of Des Moines has sent police officers and city workers armed with batons, bulldozers, and dumpsters to break up the camps of homeless folks living down by the river. Tents are ripped up, personal effects are smashed, and our homeless residents' belongings, often all they have, are thrown in the dump. The homeless are told to go to municipal shelters, which are always over capacity, and are left with the clothes on their back and no place to go. This violence is a disgrace to our city. And what's interesting about this, we're at a moment when business is looming for insurance companies and developers here in Des Moines. Our city council last year saw fit to guarantee a $20 million loan for a convention center by the hotel over there. There are more empty houses than homeless people living in Des Moines right now, and there are plenty of money in the city coffers to subsidize low-income housing. The bottom line, the city of Des Moines continues to evict folks with nowhere else to go without leaving them an alternative. The clear availability of city resources combined with the violence of the Des Moines evictions represent a class war, one being perpetrated by local elites and their cronies in city government on the most vulnerable among us. It's with this recognition that the organization I'm here to represent, the Des Moines Workers Alliance, has launched a grassroots campaign against these evictions in July. We have, along with our homeless and brothers and sisters, taken the city to task for these evictions. We've staged numerous rallies, lambasted the city council at all of its meetings for the past 3 months, sent hundreds of letters and logged hundreds of phone calls to city officials begging them to stop these evictions. We'll continue to escalate pressure through nonviolent tactics until all those who need it are afforded decent shelter and the evictions are replaced by housing programs. To be clear, what we demand is that the city house people camping out rather than violently and cruelly destroying their camps. In addition to our housing campaign, the Workers Alliance organizes prisoners. On this front, we've engaged the Department of Corrections on their cruel treatment of inmates at the Iowa State Penitentiary and have already won concessions, including an investigation to the treatment of prisoners at Fort Madison. Beyond that, we're organizing networks inside and outside prisons with the aim of building prisoner unions and abolishing the prison system as it exists. Speaking of all this prison organizing, how many of you heard about the prison strikes that happened yesterday? I'm sorry, Friday. A lot of you? Yeah. Prisoners in 24 different states went on strike against their captors. We are in the midst of an unprecedented uprising against our bloated carceral state. The Des Moines Workers Alliance is on the vanguard of that fight here in Iowa. You know, outside of what I've done with the Des Moines Workers Alliance, I've been involved with anti-racist struggles here with local Black Lives Matter movements. I fought factory farms. I fought this Bakken oil pipeline that's going through our state right now. It occurs to me that the problems that working people face every day are united by one cause. Capitalism is the name of the problem, and its symptoms, that's right, its symptoms are the eviction of homeless folks, the building of destructive pipelines, the privatization of Medicaid the state capitol enacted last year, poverty, war, and ecological collapse. At a certain point, you have to ask yourself, what kind of city do you want to live in? What kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a city where the city government kicks out and breaks up the tent camps of the most vulnerable among us, our homeless? Do you want to live in a world where the rich can afford incredible luxury while the rest of us suffer and push us to the point of ecological collapse? No. Hell no, you don't. I don't know about you, but I want to live in a world where we have decent jobs for all, a green economy, and make decisions that are best for the people, by the people, not the ruling class. And if we want a better world, we can't rely on Republicans or Democrats. We need movements on the ground. Social movements are and always have been the only way that people get concessions from the government. Get involved, become a member of progressive organizations like the Des Moines Workers Alliance here in Des Moines. Stand up and fight back. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. And you know, I mean, Patrick said it all right there. I mean, it's about getting involved locally. I recommend it to any of you that's around the Des Moines area to check out the Workers Alliance. Very good group. You know, let's stay active. That's what it's about. So when we lie down, we're complacent, then we become complicit. And none of us want to do that. Who's ready to get their funny bone tickled? Our next guest is Jeffy Alexander. He comes from Fairfield, Iowa. He's a comedian, and welcome, Jeffy. Come on.
My fellow Americans, how we doing today? I had a choice this morning between, putting on the shirt and tie and wearing my Bob Marley shirt, and I don't know if I made the right decision. I just don't know. Normally when I get on stage, I look like I just got thrown out of the Golden Corral, actually, so this is an upgrade, which I cannot confirm or deny that's ever happened. I do have a good. I made him mad once though. I pissed him off really bad. It's like I went there one night for a prime rib night, and I put like 3 prime ribs on one of those sticks, and I put it in the chocolate fountain. They got a little mad about that. Apparently, they didn't specify what I could put in the chocolate fountain. They didn't once. Apparently, cow blood does not mix the integrity of the chocolate well. I guess they got very mad at me. Oh, I'm glad to be here. It's an honor to be a part of this. It's an honor to be upright. About a month and a half ago, I sprained my ankle stepping off a very low curb. And I wish I had a cool story to follow that. I wish it was like, I saw a child being abducted from a van, and I jumped in the van and fought off the attacker and grabbed the child. And as I was tucking and rolling, the back tire rolled over my ankle, and 5 plates and 7 screws later. No, it was more like, well, I hadn't eaten in 10 minutes, so I needed pizza. So I went to the gas station, I got 6 pieces of pizza, ate 2 on the way to the door. Of course I sauntered because I didn't want to lose my breath as eating pizza and also chafing. And as I was stepping off the curb, gravity went, oh, no, you've gotten away with too much, fatty. No, you've gotten away with being a big fatty for too long, okay? 1, 2, 3, roll, there we go. And as I stepped down, I was like, ah! There was these 3 kids by the gas station. They were like, oh, did you catch a Pikachu? I'm like, go to hell! Oh, Pokemon Go. Okay, I want you guys to be honest with me. Everybody be honest. Not Hillary Clinton honest, I mean actually honest. How many of you have played Pokemon Go? Raise your hands. Yeah, okay. And how many of you have sex on the regular? Go. Well, either we have some liars out there or I'm just old. I tried the Pokemon Go thing. I tried it. I actually tried it for an hour in downtown Iowa City last week, and the only thing I managed to catch was crabs. Damn college co-eds. That's not true. It was a homeless guy. He told me he loved me. I gave him $5. By the way, if Donald Trump was a Pokemon, would he be an evolved version of an Oompa Loompa? Is that accurate? That guy is orange. I don't know if he's got like liver problems or he needs to lay off the carrots. I don't know. But I think he should actually go with that. I think he should go with I think he should endear himself to the Oompa Loompa people. I think it would help him with the minority vote. Can you imagine that? Be like, identify with the Oompa Loompa people. Not only do I identify with them, I'm the greatest Oompa Loompa ever. I'm the greatest Oompa Loompa ever. I doopy-doo all day long. But of course it's Donald Trump and he has some idiot form of Tourette syndrome, so he can end up screwing up anyway. He'd be like, give me a vote, make America great. I'll build a wall because Mexicans rape, and it's just back down the hill again. Back down the hill. Oh, Donald Trump. You are a snake swallowing your own ass, aren't you? Yes, you are. And then there's the other side of the coin, Hillary Clinton. I don't care who you are, she is the freaking Mothman. She is the moth. Where chaos and destruction comes, she is there. That is what she is. And here's the thing, we know all this stuff. Thousands of hours of YouTube videos of her doublespeak and her blatant lies and everything like that. And we've got emails how she blatantly sabotaged a good viable candidate like Bernie Sanders. How she did all this stuff. And it's right in front of everybody. And the media's just like, let her be president. It's fine. He'll get her out of the house. There's enough blueberry muffins. She ate a puppy. Oh, that puppy was a member of ISIS. She had every right to defend herself against that ISIS racist puppy. It's ridiculous. One thing that caught my eye, I pay attention to a lot of politics, and last week they released the transcripts to the Benghazi trials, investigation and everything. And there's a lot of really shady stuff in there if you read it. But the thing that jumped out at me was the fact that she lost 13 Blackberries with sensitive government information. 13. Okay? At what point after the first loss of like 5 do you not tell grandma you're getting in landline? What are you doing? Okay, I have a 12-year-old son. A year ago, I gave him a broken iPhone 5. The back is shattered, but it's not even activated. He just plays Angry Birds and listens to music on it, okay? He holds on to that thing like grim death. He's not lost it once, all right? She loses 13 Blackberries with sensitive government information. She's a Secretary of State!
Yeah! Tell it!
At what point does Mama freaking Michelle and Daddy Obama not take away her car keys and send her upstairs for at least 15 minutes of quiet time? It's ridiculous. The only thing Hillary Clinton has ever successfully done in politics is she managed to subcontract her husband to an intern in a blue dress. That is all she has managed to do. The government's still trying to find those deleted emails too. And I think they're doing it wrong. Because if you're going to find anything, you don't rely on a bunch of stuffy FBI and CIA agents. What you get is a bunch of jealous girlfriends.
Right?
Seriously, yeah.
White girl crazy.
100% true story. 100% true story. I was dating this girl years ago, and she calls me up out of the blue, and she's like, "Who's this Pam girl you've been talking to?" Excuse me? You know, Pam, she tells you she loves you. Oh, you mean my Aunt Pam? Who's having her gallbladder out next week? We haven't talked about that. How could you possibly know we had that conversation? I broke into your email, stupid! Keep clapping, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeffy. Our next performer, I lost a little foam head off of the microphone. Thank you, David. Our next performer is a good friend of mine, and I don't even know what to say about her. She's like the coolest chick ever. She's an activist, she's an artist, she's an entrepreneur, a native of Iowa. And if I didn't have her on here as a musical guest, I would definitely have her on here as a speaker. She brings a lot. She's also a Berners state delegate. Please give a warm welcome to Nettie.
Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for being here to support the Green Revolution. I'm really excited to see all of your faces. Can everyone hear me okay? All right, perfect. Who wants to sing This Land Is Your Land with me? We need to get our voices going. You ready? I'm not even going to play it. We're going to do this a cappella. Stand up if you're sitting, if it would be comfortable for you to stand. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps from the darkened sands of her diamond desert. And as I wandered, a voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. In the shadow of the steeple, I seen my people. By the really poppers, I seen my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there asking, was this land made for you and me? This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and